was bloody robbed. Bloody lying gits.
Anyway, so there we go. There's a good opening quote.
It's alive! Let's show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown.
So welcome to Empire of Geek. So on the show, a later show, because we normally record on a Sunday or a Monday, but our schedules all got conflicted, didn't they? So we're having to record on a Wednesday now.
Yeah.
Rather late for us. And it's also rather late at night as well, a bit later than we normally do, because we're obviously all very busy people.
I've been awake for 3 days. And I didn't bloody win. Bastards.
So, bearing in mind, I'm not planning on editing this, so I want you to self-regulate and avoid saying anything which, A, will implicate historical abuse accusations against anyone on you, or that you will want cut out because they can trace it to you. So on the show this week we've got Raoul, and Raoul, you met Jason Bradbury this week, didn't you? From off the Gadget Show.
Yes, I did.
Great guy.
I'm not making any comment.
And we'll find out a bit more about Raoul's thoughts on Jason Bradbury in a minute. And we've also got Andy.
Hello.
Hello, Andy. And we've also got my bird over there, who's still very much pregnant, Lisa, who doesn't want to be on the podcast. Just wave towards the... there you go, she's waving. Okay, let's get straight on with the show then, shall we? So, one of the things I want to talk about first of all is the new Game of Thrones trailer that I just showed the chaps. It's out on YouTube now. Raoul, what did you think?
I thought it looked really good. I thought that there looked like there was a lot more going on in this series than the previous, which was more or less just walking around a lot.
Stuff went on in it.
Yeah, it did, but it wasn't like the earlier seasons. In the last season, it was more like they were moving around to set things up for this season, and this looks like there's stuff happening, which is good. So I can't wait for it.
I think there's going to be some big changes in it.
Yeah.
There's I don't know if we mentioned it in a previous show. You see Sansa there with the dark hair. She's going to take on apparently some of the traits of a character who's not in the TV show but in the books, which is a bit of a spoiler. Is in the books her mum gets brought back to life as Lady Stoneheart and starts taking revenge on people who've crossed the Starks. I think that Sansa's going to take that role now.
She'll become the Stoneheart.
Yeah, well, someone said Sansa Stoneheart and all that.
Right.
So I don't think they'll call her that in the show, but I think fans have seen that that could happen. The Littlefinger's kind of setting her up as this kind of avenging angel type character.
Littlefinger's a bit of an odd... I don't know if he's friend or foe. Never.
Yeah, I think he's a dickhead though, because he's responsible for Ned Stark. One of the people responsible for Ned Stark getting killed.
You never know with him which side of the coin he's gonna.
Yeah, I know someone else who's a bit like that. Andy over there.
Hello.
Before the show began, I won't go into the ins and outs of it, but don't say no to me. We found out that Andy is not the clean-cut good guy that we always thought he was.
What's he done now?
I'm not allowed to reveal it on the chase.
What have you done?
You look like a... Yes?
You're looking a bit gormless, like you're about to catch flies. What have you done?
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
But do you watch Game of Thrones?
I don't, so I can't
Twat.
I can't really join in much. And the trailer was only about 1 minute and 40 seconds.
You've not been like a dick to your girlfriend, have you?
No, it's nothing to do with that.
Oh, that's all right then.
It's just to do with that. Anyway, so it looks exciting, doesn't it? There's a lot of potential in there. You've got Tyrion who's going after Daenerys. He wants to put her on the Iron Throne. You saw lots of glimpses of the dragon.
Why? Oh, so Tyrion wants Daenerys on the Iron Throne in light of his father's bog death.
Well, that whole bog death thing has driven him to the point where he thinks, Sodom, I want to put someone else on the throne.
Yeah.
Completely. In the books, it's made even more clear why he does it, because in the books, he discovers that Jaime was involved with... Just going back, there's a bit in the books where Tyrion talks about this girl he fancied, and then he discovered that Jamie had paid for a whore. Well, that wasn't true. That was all set up. Tywin and had Jamie do that. And Jamie admits it to him in the book.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Screw you, I'm done with you all." And that's why he goes off to join Daenerys. But they didn't do that bit. Well,
they did mention. I mean, there was the thing where he mentioned being in love with that woman. And,
Shay.
Yeah. Well, no, not Shay. The other one, and the one before when he was 17 or younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how
it was mentioned.
It was mentioned in passing how Jamie had paid for. It was a whore that Jamie had bought for him.
Yeah, she wasn't. So.
She wasn't a whore.
No, it was a lie to get her away from Tyrion.
Wow.
And he hates. So in the books, he really falls out with Jamie, whereas in the TV show he hasn't. So that's one of the big differences.
There's still a bit of a friendship there, isn't there?
Yeah.
But.
And there's some cool scenes where where you see Jon Snow on a boat going towards like a coastal town.
I was like getting that joke.
No, Jon Snow, Kit Harington's character. He what?
Oh no, he was on the Channel 4 documentary.
I know, and he tried. Did he try weed?
Yeah. He had a bad reaction to it.
Why did he have to try it? Surely they had.
Well, Jon Snow tried weed.
Yeah, he was he was off his tits on it, and
he went a bit loopy.
What was the point of it? We all know it makes you loopy. Why did you have to film that on telly?
Well, the thing is,
he just said he got a bad back.
Yeah, he did. The show was ruined because someone kept ordering pizza, didn't they? We got Domino's for a Jon Snow.
But sorry, I digress.
Yeah. Anyway, so Jon Snow, the character, not the drug addict newsreader, he's going towards this coastal town. That's Eastwatch by the Sea, which is. The wall.
Yes.
One of the far ends is this kind of this town, and so that's not been featured in it before. So that looks quite exciting. And they're setting up for a big battle between Stannis, who's at the wall now with his men, because in the last series they had a big battle against wildlings. Have you forgotten that?
Yeah.
All those horses came out of the trees, and so he's going to go after the I've forgotten the name of them now. Those toss pots.
There's quite a few toss spots.
The Boltons, yeah, he's
Boltons,
after the. There's gonna be a big face-off with the Boltons, so it's quite interesting what's going on.
The Boltons do need wiping out, to be honest.
Well, yeah, the shit houses, aren't they?
Need a bit of Bolton genocide, I think.
So we're all excited. Apart from Andy, who just can't be asked to watch it. We're all excited for Game of Thrones.
I don't have Sky, so it's hard.
There are other ways to view things.
You just go onto Google Play and pay for it.
Yeah, you cheapskate. You can view it all there. You could buy a box set, couldn't you?
I could do, yeah.
You got loads of money though. You've shut down loads of care homes this year. So is that fish? Oh no, that is stop talking about you.
Yeah.
Today there's lots of revelations. Andy's had a haircut as well, which we've tried recording this show several times already. And on the first time we tried recording it, we had a technical malfunction. But one of the things which I didn't manage to record was Raoul turned up and congratulated Andy on his new haircut.
Complimented.
Well, it's true.
And then, in typical Raoul double-edged sword, backhanded compliment, then said that his old haircut that he's always had looked shit and made him look gay. But have you got rid of that gay haircut now?
The thing is, I went, because of this thing that I had to do the day which I'm not talking about and I'm a bit sore about, I had to go.
This isn't a bottom problem for the listeners.
Yeah, I had to smart myself up. So I went and had a haircut.
Are they going to understand this? Because you went to Raoul went to an event.
Context.
Yeah, Raoul went to an event
Yes.
this week.
So I had to smart myself
with
up.
the potential for winning something.
Buy a suit and get a haircut and all that.
You didn't shave your
Hairdresser.
face.
I went in and said to the hairdresser, I don't care what you do, just do whatever it is, just make me look smart.
And they start laughing.
Well,
Not a miracle.
well, he cut. If you look, if I sweep my hair forward, you see I have acquired an Andy Cook fringe. Not intentionally. He's just sort of given me like this weird kind of, and he caked me in what's this Elnet stuff?
Elnet.
Hairspray stuff.
Isn't that what the Spanish call the World Wide Web?
Elnet.
Thank you very much, everybody.
But the thing is, I don't want to be messing about with hairspray, so I've just left it as it is now.
So basically, you slagged off Andy for his what you said.
Did you not have a shave?
His dodgy haircut.
While you were at it?
Oh, I didn't have time.
You still look like Terry Waite the movie.
I'm quite glad I didn't have a shave, really, because they didn't deserve to see me clean shaven after that travesty.
Yeah. And Jason Bradbury hosted it, didn't he?
No comment.
Yeah, and Raoul got to meet him, and Raoul introduced him to a guy who worked on rockets and something, didn't he?
No comment.
And you're not going to say that you think he's a wanker. Okay, we'll continue. I hope the listeners can put 2 and 2 together there. Right, the next thing we want to talk about is Avengers Age of Ultron. So there's a new trailer out now. This is the 3rd trailer they brought out for it. And does it not look cool? Andy, have an opinion for once in your life.
No, it looks spectacular. Yeah.
That's what parents say about fireworks there. It was spectacular. Ooh.
Well, it was quite compelling. I don't know.
It was compelling. That's your go-to phrase, isn't it? It was compelling.
Well, at least Catface isn't here going on about matter.
Yeah, he'd be going, well, it's just franchise.
He talks about
Matter, that's his favourite word, isn't it? It's putrid matter,
Yeah.
or it's
all these
something
franchise
matter.
films
Physics.
is just the matter of, kind of rendered down pop culture. It's dropped out the anus of culture. It's just the matter left over when it's refined down.
He's so philosophical, isn't he? In his thinking.
Pons. He's a
It
Pons.
takes bloody ages, and you know.
Adds another 20 minutes onto the show.
Yeah, I don't like the fact it's big corporations making films.
Yeah. Yeah.
Heaven forbid that anyone should spend money.
So in this new trailer, there were some cool things in it. For a start, we saw the first proper view of the Vision. Now, in the comic books, the Vision is made by Ultron, and the Vision's a good guy. And the Vision will be played by Paul Bettany, who voiced Jarvis in Iron Man and in those films.
So is the Vision also created by?
That will be interesting, because in the comic books, the Vision was created by Ultron, but, as we were saying before, in the comic books, Hank Pym, the first Ant-Man, creates Ultron.
Yes.
He isn't in this. He's created by Tony Stark.
When was the Ant-Man movie out then?
After the Age of...
Ultron.
Age of Ultron,
So it makes sense they can't have an origin story without the... Yeah.
And they didn't want to put him in anyway. Josh Whedon said he felt that having Hank Pym in this film, you'd have Bruce Banner. Can you not inappropriately touch yourself, Andrew, when I'm talking?
What?
I just looked up, I just glanced up, because I like to make eye contact, listeners, with my fellow Empire of Geekers. And I look up, and you are plunging your hand into those grubby-looking tracksuit sweatpant bottoms. And then
sorry, I had to
scratching.
readjust my boxes.
It wasn't your boxes you were readjusting.
It wasn't.
It looked like you had some of those what are those kind of Chinese ball things. I was relaxing myself.
I thought I got away with it, even though you
Stress
were making...
balls.
Yes, it's stressful. Give him a damn good squeeze. So, where was I? Yes, he didn't want another sign that you were deviant.
That's just, like I say, I had to get comfortable.
So from this trailer, we can assume several things. The first thing we can assume is that now we know Ultron's backstory. Tony Stark, because of maybe the events of the first Avengers film and other things, has decided that the Avengers can't be everywhere, so he has tried to build a robotic kind of group, and so Ultron is one of them. Like, imagine robotic policeman. He's still laughing about being caught abused.
Didn't he have, like, in the last Iron Man film? Didn't the last Iron Man film, like, a myriad of...
He had lots of different suits, didn't he? Yeah. And can I just explain to the listeners? For the first time ever, I decided to make a PowerPoint so that I can put it on a TV so I can show them what we're talking about rather than me passing an iPad around. And so on each slide, I've either got pictures or I've got some key points. And what is the? Would you like to read out the key points, Andy?
Well, one particular comment got me laughing. It's more the last one where it says Avengers is awesome. Catface balls.
Thing is, we were expecting him to be here, weren't we?
Yeah, I'm not having a go. I know last time, Raoul, you talked about the wonders of slagging people off behind the back. But I would say, if you're going to be rude to someone, you've got to see the face. Yeah. Otherwise, what is the point?
And the thing is, it's not really behind their back on a podcast because I'll hear it.
As we said, yeah.
Exactly.
So, You completely changed your opinion there. A massive...
I'm fickle, what can I say?
So what we can guess is Ultron has been made by Tony Stark as some kind of robotic, maybe a police force, some kind of protector, so they can call on these wherever you are in the world. You've got this group of androids which can come and save people and kick ass, which is quite cool. There's also there were scenes of Iron Man fighting the Hulk in the Hulkbuster armour, and I always thought, why would they be fighting? And their only original idea was if the Hulk just went absolutely batshit crazy, that then he would fight him. But I'm now thinking, if you looked in the actual trailer, and it's kind of obvious, the Scarlet Witch, the character in it, she can control minds.
Of course.
So I think she probably, because I've seen a picture this week and no one's picked up on it, the Hulk's eyes always look a little bit kind of bloodshot and red. I think she's taken over his mind and that she's using the Hulk to fight, and that's why.
Well, that would make a lot of sense.
Yes, so that's what I think. And then the final point is, even though this is a big franchise film, it's going to be amazing. And as we've said already, old Moggy Mush sucks balls. And Roger Moore, his James Bond films were better. There we go. Right, the next thing I want to talk about, I mentioned this this is a quick one. I mentioned the one about making a He-Man film, and we talked about the fact that Raoul found it massively homoerotic. And so it's been spoke about for a while, and then not much has been mentioned again. Around about January time, Devon Franklin, who's a vice president of Columbia Pictures, he tweeted out a picture of a script for He-Man. This week, someone was tweeting him on Twitter, and he responded with this picture of Battle Cat, which is some concept art from the new He-Man film. It looks pretty cool, doesn't it?
What's it painted with?
I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if they've got a picture of a lion, and then they've added it on top, or if it's a model they've made. Maybe it's a maquette. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, because it
looks 3D, doesn't it?
It does. Can't quite. Yeah. It's been overworked in any way, but it's.
It looks really. It looks to me like they've made a model, and then they've maybe coloured it, took a photo of it, and then messed around with the
yes. Yeah.
They've exposed it, but. I don't know, it could just be a really good digital painting, but if it is...
If they made the film looked like that, that would be quite interesting.
Yeah, I would like to see something like that.
Yeah, if the whole film was shot like that.
Yeah, so that looks really promising. So listeners, look on the interwebs and find that picture, but I can't wait to see a He-Man film. And I hope they stick in Eternia and it's kick-ass and it all looks like this. I want Conan the Barbarian feel to it.
Yeah.
But, sci-fi Conan the Barbarian, that would be awesome. Right, the next thing I want to talk about, actually, I added this in today. The problem with missing doing the show on Sunday is that this started off as maybe about 13 slides. We're now, I add stuff in every day.
So, in light of Catface not being here, we're still over by 20 minutes.
We might do. I'm going to try and keep things to the point and succinct. Now, we've spoken a few times about the new Ghostbusters film, which is going to be featuring a female cast, and we spoke about how some people were massively kind of ball aching about that. Well, at the start of this week, they announced that they're actually going to make 2 Ghostbusters films.
2?
Yeah, because while Paul Feig is behind this female Ghostbusters one, they said that after it's made, Channing Tatum is going to be working with Dan Aykroyd, who's going to be one of the people who's behind it, and Ivan Reitman, or Rittman, whatever you want to say, who was the original director of Ghostbusters. They're going to do a more action-centric version of Ghostbusters, which might well be, it's been announced today that Chris Pratt is one of the people interested in being in it with Channing Tatum. It'll be like 2 of them, and they'll be the main focus. There'll be women in it as well.
So, will this be set in a different universe, or a crossover, or, how are they going to...
Good question, Raoul. Well, I thought that, but it turns out that Sony, who own the rights to Ghostbusters, have decided that they're going to set up this new kind of group which they're going to call, I think it's Ghost Corps. It's a special production company which is focusing on making films, TV shows and all media stuff based on Ghostbusters.
So milking the Ghostbusters cow, to quote Catface.
Milking it to death till it is just matter.
Going to sort of jump the shark a bit.
Well, what it seems like is going to have the female one, and then this Channing Tatum one is going to be him and Chris Pratt, because they're going to be mates in real life, and because Chris Pratt's all red hot after Guardians of the Galaxy, is going to be in it with maybe some other people. But they're actually planning 4 films. So they announced the second film on Monday, and today they've said.
4 films.
But one of the bloggers on the internet decided to speak to Sony and find out what was true, because they thought this Channing Tatum thing was a load of balls, and they actually said they're planning on doing 4. They're going to do the Paul Feig one, the Channing Tatum one, then they're going to do a crossover between the 2 of those different teams, and then they want to do a prequel. And the prequel will not feature the old Ghostbusters because those characters are all tied up in legal issues, but it'll be set in the same world.
Right.
So what Ivan Reitman has said is we want to expand the Ghostbusters universe in ways that will include different films, TV shows, merchandise, all things that are part of modern film entertainment. So
they're chasing after their own Avengers type, Marvel type.
Everyone
universe.
is, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing is, Sony, did they not try that with Spider-Man and it was a massive balls up?
Yes.
So for some reason, everyone, like DC are doing it with and it kind of makes sense with DC, but everyone is talking about these universes.
The thing is, with Ghostbusters, there's not been a great deal. I mean, there's been comic books granted and the odd novel and stuff, but there's not been a great deal done to expand the universe.
It's the 4 main Ghostbusters,
yeah.
With a few other people floating around it.
That's right. So in some ways it's quite exciting because they do have scope to take it more or less anywhere, but at the same time you think they might just bugger it up because they can take it anywhere.
Yeah, what they've said is they want it to be a universe which is all about supernatural, scary stuff, but with comedy elements. So this idea of a prequel, I don't understand how they would do that. Is that going to be set in the past? And how does that even link in with Ghostbusters? Unless they have an early...
It would assume that it's before they all got together and, started ghostbusting.
Oh, well, if it's...
or their origin, maybe what they did in their childhood or something.
No, I think when they mean prequel, I think they mean maybe not involving maybe the characters who were in, the films.
Right.
And it just sounds weird. One of the things they've talked about is with Channing Tatum is, they did that 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street.
Dire films, but yeah.
Do you know what the next one they're going to do is? And apparently they're making this.
23 Jump Street.
It's going to be
Jump Street.
The next film is going to be a crossover between 21 or 20 whatever Jump Street and Men in Black. They're going to do a crossover film between the 2 of them.
No.
And it just sort of be the 2 characters joining the Men in Black.
What? How?
Makes perfect sense.
So
that's just clutching at a franchise. That's just clutching at a straw.
Just so... Yeah,
everyone
stale.
wants a franchise. Well, I know that Universal wanted to do it with all their month. They wanted to have the Dracula, Frankenstein and all that.
But that would make sense. Dracula, Frankenstein, they kind of sort of exist roughly in the same kind of universe, horror genre, that kind of thing. With 21 Jump Street versus Men in Black, they're completely alien to each other.
Whee!
Oh, yeah.
Is that a pun?
Well done, Rob.
Raoul. Yeah, I'm obviously a massive fan of Ghostbusters. In fact, the opening title to this podcast has Peter Venkman speaking to Gozer, the Gozerian. So it's probably my favourite film of all time, Ghostbusters, and even Ghostbusters 2 as well. But I don't know, I don't want them to create this thing which I'm expecting to be amazing, and then it be shit.
It sounds like, just from their previous history of dealing with these sort of things, it just sounds like it's going to be a monumental cock-up.
Yeah, why not make one film, and if it's awesome, then make sequels?
But also as well, I mean, the culture at Sony and the culture now is completely different to what it was when these films were originally made.
Yeah.
So...
soulless twats.
Well, there are just different incentives, aren't there? So whether or not they'll be able to pull it off and retain the magic of the originals, you just don't know. Or will some accountant bean counters say, oh, the demographics say that 14-year-old boys like this, so put this in.
Well, some people have argued that this whole Channing Tatum thing is because so many men have, thrown a hissy fit over the fact they're going to have female Ghostbusters. So they're on about saying they should call it Ghost Boysters. That's not my joke, but I'll take credit for it. Right, so we'll move on. So I spoke the other week about Neil Blomkamp, and he was on about making the next Alien film.
Yeah.
And we showed you some of his cool artwork. Well, a guy called David Woodruff is is the son of another guy called Tom Woodruff, and Tom Woodruff is a legendary visual effects artist. He did stuff on Terminator and the Alien series, and his son is following in his steps. And what his son decided to do was, of his own back, after seeing these pictures, he would do his own visual kind of makeup, mock-ups of these pictures of the characters, particularly of Hicks, and then he posted them on the internet. So I've got them to show us. I suggest that
he actually stumped up the cash and everything to do this.
He owns his own. It's his job already, so he decided to do it off his own back. They look friggin' brilliant.
Is this one of them here now?
No, this is the Neil Blomkamp paintings. I'm going to show you some of his in a minute when I click through it. But they look really good. He's got a company called Generation Effects Incorporated, and I think that he probably is. This is his way of saying, "Please let me be in on the film." And when you see the special effects, I'd back him up on that. So I'm just going to click through. So, as I said already, his dad is Tom Woodruff, who worked on tons of stuff such as Aliens and all that, and loads of other films, but mainly in the kind of Terminator, Alien kind of world. So we know he does cool stuff, and so this is actually Tom. On the pictures, he made his dad up. So Tom Woodruff, the legendary VFX man, has been made up by his son. So this is his mock-up.
So the art, on the left is just the artwork.
That's the art on the left.
Yeah.
And on the right is the actual.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, if you have to look on, I'll put a link on the description of the podcast so you can find these pictures. This armour that he's wearing, it's a picture of Hicks sitting down with the scarred acid face, and so he's made up his part to look like him. The armour he's wearing is the actual armour worn by Michael Biehn in the Aliens film. That's the proper Hicks armour he's wearing.
Wow.
Let's go. I'll show you another one. So here's some more. These are all tests. They've actually got their own alien model, and they've set it up with all smoke and stuff in. So it looks really good.
It looks amazing. It looks amazing.
So yeah, I'll put some links on the podcast for that, but well worth looking at. It looks pretty cool. Right, this leads me on to the next thing. I'm sure we've mentioned this as well. We know there's Superman versus Batman, Dawn of Justice coming up, but there's also Suicide Squad coming up, which is a part of this DC expanded universe. And they wanted a new Joker.
That's like an anti. What was Superman's crew? Oh, I've forgotten.
His crew.
You know.
Wu-Tang Clan?
No. Been up for 3 days, man. Come on. His kind of team. What was his team?
Justice League.
Justice League, right. So Suicide, whatever it is like the anti-Justice League almost, isn't it?
There is actually a group.
Well, it's Justice League Dark, isn't there?
Yes, but you also there are a group of badass. I can't remember off the top of my head what they're called, but they are a bad group. The Suicide Squad are a group of villains who are like a dirty dozen.
Right.
They're given missions by the government or whoever to go and do dangerous missions that are probably suicidal. Almost like you do this and we'll let you off your horrific crimes. Because Harley Quinn's going to be in it, but the Joker's going to be involved in that. And some people said he's going to be have a cameo in the Batman and Superman film, which I hope they don't, so it'll suck balls. But anyway, Jared Leto, who is famous for being from the band, is it 30 Seconds from Mars? He's won an Oscar as well.
Yes.
Yeah, he was, 30
yeah.
Seconds from Mars. Yeah.
He's described as having a massive schlong as well.
By whom?
Several women have said, so I can't remember the name of the actual woman, but she's reported as saying that he took his trousers off and his schlong, the end of his schlong looked like the helmet of a Praetorian Guard. That is an actual quote.
I'd go and see the doctor about that because it doesn't sound normal.
Apparently, he's just got a monster rod. That's what all the talk is.
Good for him. Well done.
But what he's announced is that he's going to play the Joker in the Suicide Squad, and obviously that will then lead into him being in a Batman film against Ben Batfleck. So he has said that his version of the Joker is going to be more cerebral and comedic than any of the others, and that he's going to make his Joker the best ever. Which is the sharp intake of geek breath there.
Well,
obviously, you're not going to say my Joker's going to be shit. It pales into comparison next to the other actors who play them.
I thought Heath Ledger's Joker was probably the best one.
Well, everyone says that, don't they?
So it'll be good to see what he does with him.
Well, we're going to continue that line of questioning in a moment. So Jared Leto he looked like basically a hobo. And so last week he got his hair cut and he's had it, first of all it dyed blonde and then he's had green put into it, and he's posted a few kind of teasing pictures, most of which I'll admit, particularly the one where he's sat in a car with shades on, he looks like a dickhead, doesn't he?
Turtleneck.
Who wears a turtleneck? Knobheads wear a turtleneck. But what I want to say is, Joker in the pack, who is the best Joker ever, in your opinion? And so we've got 4 to choose from here. Now you'll probably point out, for the listeners at home, that obviously you can't see this, but I've got pictures of 4 different Jokers. One of them's a cartoon character. So, can you work out who they are from the pictures?
You got Jack Nicholson top right, Heath Ledger bottom left, the animated series, Batman animated series bottom right, and the first one I've forgotten his name, but he would have been from the TV series.
He did. Now,
with Eartha Kitt and all that.
The bottom one on the right, to be honest, there's a few different people who've voiced him, but Mark Hamill is probably one of the most famous people who've... Yeah. Luke Skywalker from Star Wars as voicing the Joker. Top left is Cesar Romero.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Now, for me, Cesar Romero is always the guy I think of when I think of the Joker. I think his look looks most like the cartoon, the comic book Joker that I always remember reading.
But also as well, I mean, he was the original. And the way they did his hair, I mean, the original first televised Joker. And the way he did his hair is more authentic to the comics, and the way his look is more authentic.
He just looks. The only thing that lets Cesar Romero down is, and I didn't realise until someone pointed it out, and when it was pointed out to me it ruined it, is that...
Right, sorry everyone, he's going to spoil it for you.
Yeah. Cesar Romero, not his eyebrows are fine, that's what the Joker's eyebrows look like. Cesar Romero was always my favourite Joker, until I discovered, because he threw himself into it, he had like an Irish accent when he did it as well. And I thought, he really gets into the role. But the lazy bastard couldn't be asked to shave off his moustache, and so they just painted over it.
Oh yeah, when you look at it.
And now I know that, I just cannot help but look at his dodgy painted out moustache. It ruins it for me, because the Joker doesn't have a tash, but friggin' lazy git Cesar Romero does.
Now you point it out, I can see it now. Yeah, you're right.
And you know what? It's all you're going to see now when you look at him. So he's no longer my favourite Joker anymore, the dickhead. Yeah, I just can't stop looking at his stupid moustache. Never knew he had it in the series. But, yeah. So who would be your favourite Joker? Did you say you like a bit of Heath Ledger?
Well, I mean, it's because he was so dark and manic and mad. I think that sums the Joker up. The Joker is a complete Fruit Loop nutcase.
Chaotic.
Chaotic and evil.
Yeah, I think they got, to be honest, I think more than any others, because the Joker, and maybe Jack Nicholson's to the same, was like a bad guy who just did bad stuff for his own ends. Yeah. Whereas the Joker in Heath Ledger's one wasn't trying to gain anything other than just bring about chaos.
Yeah.
Which is what... Do you agree with that?
Yeah, he touched on the money, didn't he?
It's compelling.
Matter.
Yeah, he did, but he burnt all the money because he just didn't care.
Yeah.
Some people just want to see, as Michael Caine said, some people just want to see the world burn, Master Bruce. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. So yeah.
I can't do Michael Caine without saying that.
I can't do Michael Caine. That's the end of it. Right, the next thing, still in the DC universe, they've announced there's going to be a Supergirl TV show. It follows in the same vein as The Flash and The Arrow. And they've announced a new Supergirl. Melissa Benoist, I don't know how to pronounce it, is going to be the new Supergirl.
What's she been in before?
She has been in probably shit stuff that I've never watched. So I've not bothered looking into it. But what I want to talk about is... So she plays the famous Supergirl, who is she's the cousin of Superman. Who actually, when you watched the recent Superman film, when he went through the Kryptonian ship, there was a pod that was empty, and they said that could have been how Supergirl came to Earth. But she's going to get her own TV show. The bad guy in it is going to be called Hank Henshaw, and Hank Henshaw in the comic books was the cyborg who was like a cyborg version, like a Terminator version of Superman. What I want to know is that the woman who designed her outfit also did the Arrow outfit and the Flash one. Her name's Colleen Outwood. What do you think of the outfit? We'll start off with you, Andy.
Yeah, that's alright.
You like it? Is it compelling?
What
do you think of it, Raoul?
prefer it to be a bit more.
Well,
racing.
the thing is, I'm a bloke, and Supergirl was always a bit more.
Should we compare it to the film Supergirl, played by Helen Slater?
Yes.
So let me just. Oh, I've gone past it. So, have I deleted the flaming slime? Wait a minute. Now there it is. So Helen Slater from the 1984 film. So I've got a picture of the new Supergirl
It's a bit more
and
older.
the old Supergirl.
The new costume, actually, now that I've had a photo, the new costume looks more like she could kick your ass.
It's meant to look similar to Henry Cavill's one.
Yeah.
It's darker, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks a lot better. It looks more hard edge. Yeah.
But Helen Slater is actually going to be in the the Supergirl TV show. She's going to play some sort of role. She may end up being, I don't know, maybe the foster mother of Supergirl when she gets there. But did you ever see the Supergirl film?
I didn't. Was it good?
It was okay. I can't remember too much about it, to be honest, but it's meant to be. No, that's right. Yeah, I just thought I'd just let us compare the two outfits together. It does look more kind of cartoony, but then again, she's just meant to look like Christopher Reeve's outfit there.
Yeah.
So very much of the time. So yeah, so that's all they've released so far is these pictures of the new Supergirl outfit. The only thing I will say is in that picture, her face makes her look like a douchebag, doesn't it?
She's not got much makeup on this year.
Well, they've done that on purpose. They want to make her look like kind of an everyday girl who has superhero powers.
It's a bit uncomfortable, like judging them for their looks and all,
but let's do it.
Let's be sharp.
Lisa's not in the room. I don't know if you know, but in the comic books, they're giving Superman a new power.
What?
Well, they're going to give him the power to, solar energy basically feeds Superman.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to release massive blasts of energy bursts. I'm not joking. Don't laugh.
Why? I mean, the thing I don't like about Superman...
Was he not super enough already?
That's the point. Like, Superman is boring because he's so super. He is dull. It's like, I'm Superman, I can lift the world up on my pinky. I don't know, he's just dull. Superman's dull as dishwater. At least Batman's a bit,
He's he's a psycho, isn't he? But
he's a psycho, yeah. Batman will always do the right thing, whereas... It's not Batman, sorry, Superman will always do the right thing.
He's just a nice guy, isn't he?
And who gives a shit about nice guys? They always come last, as I am proof of from that bloody thing that I went... Anyway, never mind.
Screw you, Jason Bradbury. You specky twat.
What?
Said Rob.
Sorry,
Raoul.
I said no such thing.
Well, the thing is, everyone went on about Superman breaking Zod's neck, General Zod's neck, in the last film, the Henry Cavill one, but Superman did used to kill in the comic books.
Yeah.
It's only Batman who don't kill. Batman's there, which is going to probably bring them into conflict. It sounds quite interesting, the new film, apart from trying to put too many heroes into it. All this Aquaman and Wonder Woman shit.
But the thing is, when Superman kills, it's done in that kind of that weird American way where it's perfectly moral and okay to kill because they're bad. That's like the American way. So that kind of fits in with the whole...
It's like in American films we have someone who goes, I'm not going to kill you, I don't kill. And then they walk away from the bad guy, leaving the bad guy near either a gun or a knife. Carefully watching over their shoulder for the bad guy to pick up the gun and turn around and shoot them dead.
Yeah, because
or kick them off a cliff and be like,
fine.
I gave him a chance. But if I was stood and I watched something like that, I'd be like, but didn't you just say 3 minutes ago that you don't kill people? It's like, well, only if they try and get me from behind when I've given them a chance to do it.
They had that stand my ground law, didn't they? Or stand your ground law, which allows you basically to shoot people when they're running away.
What?
Well, yeah, so if you feel that you're threatened, if you see somebody that you deem to be a threat...
Running from you,
right, or you witness a crime. There's a case in America where this old dude saw these two black guys. They broke into a house.
This is such a good American story.
Yeah, well, they broke into a house and robbed it, and they were running down the street with all the loot. They were of no threat, and this old bugger walked out with his gun. No, that's right. He's on the phone. He dials 999 or 911 to report the robbery. Sorry, a bit tired. Report the robbery, and he's on about the stand my ground law. And the operative on the phone saying, just stay in your house. We'll send the police and we'll deal with it. He's like, no, I'm going to sort it out. He goes outside, shoots these black guys in cold blood, kills them, shoots them in the back, shoots one in the back of the head. They're running away from him. They pose no threat whatsoever, so he murdered them. But under this stand my ground or your ground or whatever law, Sarah Palin has him on some chat show with him, and they're all saluting him and saying, "Oh, what a good guy he was for shooting these scumbags." They were running away. They were no threat. That's murder. Over here, he'd get life for that. Over there, he gets an applause.
Yeah, but I think you've got to remember though that in America things are slightly different. He did actually have good grounds to shoot them because they were black. And that is, if you follow news, if you follow recent news stories, being black is all the grounds they need.
There's a theme, isn't there? Yeah, in all these stories.
If I was some kind of security guard in America and say a young black man was close to me and we were having words, I would do my best not to shoot him, wouldn't you? You know, after the recent Trayvon Martin and the Ferguson stuff, I'd think, you know what, I'm going to try actively not to kill people unless they are a real threat to me. But they just don't seem to. They seem to just love shooting.
And what was that other one? That Chris Brown, not the.
Well, when he beat Rihanna up.
No, but that was the guy in where was it? St. Louis or no? What's the Missouri?
Missouri.
Yeah, is it St.
Yeah, St. Louis, Missouri.
All the riots there and everything with him because didn't he beat up some guy in a store and the guy shot him?
I can't remember, something like that.
Yeah, but it's a constant theme, isn't it?
Thing is, I mean, we've got problems over here with kids carrying knives and stabbing each other left, right, and centre.
That's not quite the way.
No, but the point
you get a few stabbings in London because you get gangs. So.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make, if you give people access to weapons, they will use them.
Of course they will, because
inevitable.
People are irrational and impulsive
and stupid. Yeah. So and particularly where you've got like this old guy was clearly just a racist bastard, but it was made out that he wasn't, and he was standing his ground, but he clearly was just a shithead.
Different states have different laws, don't they? Like I know that in some that say someone breaks into your ground, and you see them coming through your telescopic rifle, and you're well within your rights to shoot them. It's like my car's broken down.
Can I borrow your phone to may I call the breakdown? Yeah.
Yeah, it's dodgy stuff. But yeah, I'd like to say that if you are a listener in America, sort your fucking gun laws out. But no, we don't have stabbings left, right, and centre in this country. In fact, I've gone for many a day and not been stabbed. It's only the rare off day where someone will knife me.
In where you work with all those felons.
Yeah, I would say that I feel pretty safe in the UK. Not every part of it, but all the parts I hang around. Which brings us on to the next thing, which is a new show which we watched on Sunday, so you probably bloody forgot about it. Outlander. And it's called Outlander, which if you are an American listener, you might have already seen. Because it's been out in America. It's a British-American television drama series based on the novels, the Outlander series of novels by Diana Gabaldon, and it's a big hit in America, and it's going to start showing here very soon. It's going to be out this month. Amazon Prime.
Oh, Amazon Prime, that's right.
Amazon Prime, which you actually made a good point about the fact that the fragmentation of entertainment is a pain in the arse.
It's just everybody is vying for your £7 a month or whatever it is for their subscription service. And in reality, there's probably only one or two things per subscription service that you'd want to watch.
I hate subscription things. I know this is different, but the whole Photoshop subscription thing, I'm just going to stick with my version of Photoshop, my legal version of Photoshop, might I just actually say as well. It is a fully legit version. I know if we have any comic book artists who listen to this, we know for a fact that quite a few of you maybe haven't got fully legitimate Photoshop, but mine is fully legit. But
I've had to go fully legit as well.
Yeah, but I hate this whole. Is yours the new pay subscription one?
Yeah, it's CS. It's the cloud one anyway.
And now I can see that the benefits, the fact that you will always go upgrades, won't you?
Well, the thing is, we needed so many of the Adobe products that the cost of buying them separately up front was ridiculous. Plus, as well, quite a lot of them now you can't get as standalone packages. You've got to get you can only get them through the subscription-based service. So
I just hate the idea of us. I mean, I use Photoshop all the time.
Yeah.
But I just don't like. I hate subscription things. It annoys me.
It's in-app purchases in games that really piss me off.
Yeah, you were saying that you bought his album at the start, Bill. You £300 in that Kardashian game. You just had to get Kim that new dress.
It's like anyway, fruit machines, where people just sink money into them for no real gain, no real end. Anyway, back to Outlander.
Back to Outlander, yeah. So it's about a young lady who is called Claire Beauchamp Randall, who's a nurse in the Second World War. The Second World War ends. She meets up back with her husband, who she's not seen for many years, and they go to Scotland, where some jiggery-pokery happens, and she ends up getting sent back in time to 1743. So that's from 1945 to 1743, into the middle of a big kind of civil war, where she meets up with some rugged Highlanders, and she also comes across an ancestor of her husband, who's a bit of a dick, Blackjack Randall.
Yeah, it's a pattern here. So you've got your chirpy, chappy, friendly Scot guy.
They're
Rebellious.
not all that friendly, but
yeah, you know what I mean. They're like they hate the English, etc., etc. And you've got all your redcoats, your English redcoats, who are absolute tossers. They're all nasty bastards.
I bet was there some Welsh in redcoats as well?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's like Braveheart with what do you call it? That
Mel Gibson.
That racist Australian
Mel
actor.
Gibson. He's American.
American.
I know everyone, but he was born originally in America, then he moved.
Right. Well, anyway.
Not that it makes any difference, really.
Yeah. In Braveheart, he painted.
I love Braveheart. The scene where the Irish and the Scottish run at each other, and they join forces, then turn around and destroy that Jewish army. It's my favourite bit. And take all of their Jew gold. I'm sorry if I invented that. That's maybe how Mel Gibson originally wrote it.
Yeah, that was his first draft.
I think it was tweaked a little.
I like Mel Gibson on account of that. It just seems at the smallest little inconvenience, he kicks off and then starts blaming the Jews for it. Well, I know we're joking about that, but I didn't realise that Jew hating is on a huge rise in Europe at the moment. There's so much, they're getting a real. There's a massive exodus of Jews out of a lot of European countries to Israel because of the shitty deal that they're getting.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the Israeli Prime Minister said, isn't he? He said Jews shouldn't feel safe in Europe. They should all move to Israel.
But there's just an en masse rise of right wing nutters and fear and all.
Well, Islamic fundamentalists to be.
Yeah, well, you got them, and then you've also got the counter. But the right wing kind of.
But I would say Islamic fundamentalists are right wing nutters.
Yeah, it's Islamic fascism, isn't it?
Yeah. All over the.
Islamofascism.
Have we just made ourselves a target now?
You have Je suis Empire Geek.
You can see it now everywhere.
I'm not being funny, but I've only just got this room all painted up. If some twat shoots it up, I will not be pleased, and I will get you.
There's a lot of solidarity in France. I went skiing, obviously only a couple of weeks after that.
Solidarity? You got
no, with the shootings, because I went skiing a couple of weeks after that happened, and then in a lot of the shops, a lot of houses in the windows had all got Je suis Charlie, and they got the front cover of that newspaper.
You see that newspaper, I think, was playing with fire, publishing those cartoons, and it probably wasn't advisable to publish those cartoons, but it doesn't justify murdering.
Well, I think the point was they wanted to silence them, didn't they? But all they ended up doing was it increased its circulation by something like 1,000-fold, didn't it, all around the world?
That's
so, well done there, terrorists. Yeah, so well done them. We were going to talk about the whole thing a while back, but I decided not to because I thought, I don't know.
It was a bit too soon then, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, and it's a bit. I don't feel comfortable about making jokes about, even though I already have, about stuff like that. Not because I'm scared of beardy terrorists, and they could be from anywhere. Because Raoul's got a beard. You could be a terrorist.
I'd have a shave actually.
Yeah, you do. But yeah, I didn't want to talk about it that much, but I had lots of opinions about it as well. But anyway, we're getting off the point here, Raoul. Your Outlander. What did you think? What did you think to it?
I really enjoyed it. I did think it was a little bit slow to start.
Yeah, to begin with, yeah.
I thought it did kind of drag on a bit, but it's set itself up to be quite interesting. So, yeah, I want to see where it goes.
And it's done really well in America, so maybe it kind of... Well, I can imagine the next episode is going to have to be, because you've got rid of all the setup. It will just be straightforward Highland hijinks.
Thing is, now she's back in time, how does she kind of jump back and forth?
I think she wants to go back home. I don't know if...
It's not going to be like bloody Dungeons and Dragons, is it? Where, like, for years, they're going around. They
did just announce Benja's going to be in it.
Dungeon Master. Not Dungeon... Yeah, it was... Yeah, Dungeon Master. And he's like this, this...
Dungeons and Dragons ride.
Yeah, stupid little short twat with...
Bobby the Barbarian.
And he gives them like a hand. He gives them some help. He says, and he basically gets them so far to find their way home, and then some shit happens, which means they can't get home. And it's almost like he's teasing them each week. I got so frustrated watching that.
I must admit, I know often I don't agree with you, but I can feel your pain. There's a few times. This shows how good the show is. There's one in particular where they're trying to get back, but one of them wouldn't be able to get back, and they all stopped and came back through. And there's it looked like a kind of portal way back home, and it closed up. And I remember thinking at the time, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff your friend. Get over there. Go home. End the series.
Did they get home in the end?
They probably did, but I just couldn't be arsed. It was sucking my will to live. I just could not watch any more of it.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. It was a good show. Venger was a good bad guy. He had one big horn. And the Tiamat, the big multi-headed dragon.
Yes.
Which, I remember they went to the moon. We're still not talking about the show we're meant to be talking about. And I think the Tiamat originally came from the moon, so it was more powerful. I remember them saying, well, we can't fight the Tiamat on the moon. But they found all these magical weapons and shit there. I used to like Dungeons and Dragons. Anyway, so yeah, that show. Andy, what did you think to it?
I thought it was really good, actually. Yeah, I didn't think it was something I'd be able to get into, because I thought it's a bit too sort of...
Highbrow? Intelligent?
Oh, look at you having little backhanded swipes.
Well, I'm amazed, really. What I first amazed me was Rob being able to follow the plot line.
Yeah.
Raoul.
But no, I thought it was quite good. Yeah, I'd definitely watch it again.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch the next few episodes and see. I think it's setting up quite nicely.
You've got Amazon Prime, haven't you?
Yeah.
And Rob seemed to like it because he googled the woman in it and then started weird licking bit.
Oh yeah, he did he? That was. Oh, she's a model. Yes. Hope Emma doesn't find out about this.
Look at him, he's licking her out. No.
What?
Oh yeah, there was. Well, as with all shows like this, it's obviously trying to be like HBO shows, like Game of Thrones,
Just
have a lot of naughtiness in.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of naughtiness in this, wasn't there? As Rob, we could see your.
Well, I just thought it was like Game of Thrones. The level of naughtiness in Game of Thrones is sort of the whole thing's just wrong. Like you've got like loads of wrong things just happen in Game of Thrones. Like pretty like whoa, that didn't happen. Things happen in Game of Thrones. That's what
Jamie Lannister raping his sister.
Well, he wasn't raping her. It was consensual, wasn't it?
No, when he boned her next to their dead son.
Oh yeah. That was just wrong.
That was just
that was. The fact anyway he's boning his sister is pretty grim. The fact he's raping his sister next to his dead love child is grim as well. And there's all sorts of nasty stuff. So really, a bit of like
that's going to mess up their family relationship, isn't it?
Well, of course it is.
Well, you and your sister's gone. So.
But the point I'm trying to make is, without Lander... yeah, you're funny. Yeah, you're hilarious. Without Lander, you just didn't expect it, that's what I mean.
Yeah, because it was set in the 1940s to begin with, you thought all prim and proper. And as soon as Rob sees something sexy, he starts licking his little dry lips, like,
What, like a tortoise?
Sexy lady.
Listeners,
the tortoise of love.
Listeners, I did no such thing.
Raoul's girlfriend, who did no such thing. Honest. Yes, Outlander, that is out this month in the UK on Amazon Prime. Have a look at it. It looks pretty interesting. Visually, it looks great, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's $1 million. They filmed it really well, and obviously you got the background. In fact, at the moment they're looking for actors in Scotland to play bit parts. Well, background people in it. they're actually looking for proper Scottish folk to be in the backgrounds of season 2.
They could get
Hamish McNeil, my old chum from uni, the most Scottish man in the world.
Oh, he was a nationalist, fascist.
No, he bloody well wasn't.
Well, he didn't like me.
That doesn't make him a nationalist fascist.
I thought he just hated the Welsh.
No, he was. In fact, he was probably the least nationalist person. He used to go on about the fact that Scottish people rely on their accents to be like, because they'll say stuff, and because the Scottish accent, particularly if it's from Glasgow where he was, it sounds scary. So I've been down the Barrowlands, it's hooching, got a big chip and smacking the nappy, you bastard, and it's like, whatever. So yeah, it's quite scary, the Glasgow accent.
Well, it's a bit aggressive, a bit coarse, yeah.
But he was on about Edinburgh. Like Edinburgh, he didn't consider that part of Scotland. It's just English people eating shortbread out of tins with pictures of little Scottish.
And thinking that they're in the north of England.
Yeah, and talking about how Scottish they are. Yeah, and then
so Paul would be there then.
He would love. I mean, sure, he's been to Edinburgh, but
he's
that's
quite
exactly.
cultured, isn't he?
I'm off to see the Glasgow banter. That's what he used to always say.
You walk into some bit Glasgow.
Have you got any shortbread, my good man?
I'm English, by the way.
I'd like some iron brew and some shortbread. Like, get out.
Ethnic food.
Right, which now leads me on to the quiz section. I decided that we needed a quiz in this for you lot and the viewers. So, in honour of Leonard Nimoy, who died the other week. Tragically died. And he blamed it on smoking, even though he'd given it up.
Yeah, 20 years before.
Yeah, he still thought it was the smoking that did for him.
Well, wow, that's damage.
There you are, don't smoke, kids.
So, we're going to have a quiz. And play along at home, please do. It's called 50 Shades of Spock. All of the questions are related to good old the Nimoy, or the character Mr. Spock.
I know nothing about Leonard Nimoy.
Well, we'll see. You're taking on Andy. On paper, Rob, you should smash Andy. His only interest is texting girls and doing his hair. So
no, I don't.
Scratching his nuts.
Yeah, and publicly scratching his ball bag.
We're all men.
Let's say if I see you wiping your hand on my sofa or cushions, we're going to have a fallout.
He
touched my face! He touched his...
It's if the dog starts licking your hand.
Oh my word. That was the stink hand as well. So, without further ado...
I felt violated.
It wasn't.
Was that a sex crime?
It was almost a sex crime. You dirty
bastard.
boy. So, we're going to get straight on with this, so please play along at home.
I don't know anything.
Question number 1.
God.
What was the registration number of the first Starship Enterprise that Mr. Spock ever served on? Was it A, NCC 1701? Was it B, NCC 1703? Was it C, NCC 1771? Or was it D, NCC 1313?
D.
You think D? What do you go with, Andy?
Okay, I'll go C.
Okay. I'm afraid the answer is NCC 1701. That was the first Enterprise registration. So, no points each.
Oh.
Second one. Spock famously did not get on with his father. But what was his father's name? Was it A, T'Pau, B, Jadoon, C, Sarek, or D, Sauron?
C.
So you think Sarek?
Do you know the answers to this?
And the answer to all of them.
We wrote the bloody quiz, didn't
Yes.
Make a poor quiz.
I didn't nick this off the internet. This is an original.
I'll go D.
And you think Sauron?
Sauron, really?
You think it's Sauron?
I don't know. What the fuck?
Dark Lord of Moria.
Make an educated
Mordor,
guess.
sorry.
That's a stupid guess.
I'll
Come
go
on.
C.
So you're both going C, and you are both correct. It is Sarek.
You cheating bastard! You just copied me.
Question 3.
Well, you made me get off my first answer, so...
So it's neck and neck at the moment, listeners at home. How are you doing? Keep a tally of your score, and we'll see if you can beat our two quisters, the quizzy rascals. So, what colour was Spock's blood? Get off your phone, Andrew Cook.
I'm so in a text.
C.
A red, B blue, C green, or D purple?
I think it was C.
So you think C, and you think C
D
as well.
now.
You think D, you think it's
D.
purple. The answer was green, so...
Oh,
that is...
for goodness sake! I only changed mine because you were copying me.
1-0 to Andy.
Oh no!
What an embarrassment if you get beaten by a hair product over there. Question 4.
Just
Obviously, Leonard Nimoy is most famous for his portrayal of Spock. Which actor played him in the recent films? Was it A, Jared Leto, B, Zachary Quinto,
B,
C, Chris Pine, or D, DeForest Kelly?
B.
So you think it's Zachary Quinto, Raoul?
Yes. Well, I saw the film and it's B.
Oh, you pillar.
So,
well, what can I do?
You're just going to keep copying everything I say.
You are correct, Zachary Quinto. If we have issues with a member of the team, Andy, just copying you, Raoul, then next time what I'll do, I'll get some little whiteboards and you can write them on and turn them round.
Okay.
How many questions are they?
50.
But this is what we'll do, actually.
There can't be 50.
There's 10. There's 10.
Why do you call it 50 Shades of Spock?
This is funny.
Okay.
In my head it was when I wrote it. What I'll do is I will give you the A, B, C, D, but A is 1, B 2, and I want you to, when I say give me the answer, you hold your hand up with whatever you think it is. So if it's D, you hold up 4 fingers.
Everything's going to be a guess.
This requires some numeracy on my part.
Well, no, you only need 4. You only need 4 numbers.
It's like algebra.
Right. This is question number 5 now. Remember, keep scores at home. What is the name of the mating ritual that Vulcans must engage in every 7 years or risk dying? Is it A, the quickening, B, the rites of ascension, C, Vat Mitzvah, or D, Ponfar?
No, Vulcans are Jewish.
So, you got choices there. So, when I say now, well, Raoul's given me his answer. What do you think it is, Andy? You think, okay then. Andy's gone for the quickening from the film Highlander. Rob has gone for Ponfar, and Rob is correct. It's 1-1.
How do you know this? Because you watch Star Trek.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, question number 6. What characteristics do Vulcans value above everything else? Is it A, logic, B, bravery, C, honesty, or D, nunchuck skills? What do you think it is? So Andy has gone for honesty and Rob has gone for logic. It's 2-1 to Rob. Raoul.
Crawling back. Now, a little known fact about logic.
Yes, there you go.
I've got to go.
There's no bonus points.
Loads of neurological studies have proven that with logic alone, you couldn't function.
You can't prove anything. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I mean, like, you cannot make a decision. Just using logic alone, the human brain cannot make a decision. It's the fact that it's all the other stuff.
Oh yeah, you need some kind of gut feeling. Well, that's why in every science fiction film, and probably in Age of Ultron, a robot which is just logical ultimately comes to the conclusion that it must kill everyone. The only solution is kill everyone.
But by relying on logic alone, you just could never make a decision because you just be incapable of making a decision.
Say you made a film about you building a robot that cleans your carpet, and it's just a logic, and it will clean the carpet the best way. At least within 90 minutes, that machine would have decided that you and everyone else has to die. The carpet keeps getting dirty. The only way, kill Rob. Raoul. Okay, question number 7. What is the name of the slightly less nice biological cousins of the Vulcans? Is it A, Cardassians, B, Kardashians, C, Romulans, or D, Klingons?
It is.
I'm going to go with. What do you think it is? So you're both going for Romulans, and you are both correct. So that means it's 3-2 to Raoul at the moment, with 3 more questions to go, everything to play for. In the original script for Star Trek, what colour was Mr. Spock's skin meant to be? A, red, B, yellow, C, green, or D, purple?
What colour is it at the moment?
His skin in the TV show was... I'm not telling you.
Yellow.
I'll tell you when we've done it. So what do you think? What was it meant to be? I've got Raoul's answer. You've got to guess.
Yellow.
I'm afraid that it is now 4-2 to Raoul. It was initially meant to be red, but the first Star Trek episode, they were going to try and show it in black and white, and in black and white it made his head look like it was black.
Yeah.
It looked like some kind of racist protest against it. So question 9. For Andy to draw this one, he needs to get both of these next 2 right. And Raoul needs to get them wrong. So, Leonard Nimoy wasn't just in Star Trek. He also appeared as a main character called Paris in 2 series of which other cult TV show? Was it A, Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, B, Mission Impossible, C, Adam Adamant Lives, or D, Battlestar Galactica? Raoul's given his answer already.
I don't fucking know. I ain't got a clue.
What do you think?
I don't even know if
I'm going to have to rush you.
I don't even know if Buck Rogers in the 25th Century was actually a programme.
It was a programme.
Yeah.
And Gil Gerard in it.
All of them are programmes.
That one then, A.
I'm afraid it is now 5-2 to Raoul. There's no chance that you can beat him now.
I'm quite surprised at myself. I didn't think I'd get all these
The
right.
answer was Mission Impossible. He starred in 2 series of it, as we've already said. And finally, question 10. Which Star Trek film did Leonard Nimoy direct?
This is the one where whoever gets this one right wins. Forget all the other questions.
Okay, yeah, we'll have a last blood. Was it A, Star Trek The Undiscovered Country, B, Star Trek The Wrath of Khan, C, Star Trek The Voyage Home, or D, Star Trek The Unwanted Sequel?
I've got a feeling I'm taking a punt on this one.
Right, Raoul's given me his answer. What are you going for? You're going for okay then. Are we agreeing that whoever gets this right wins? To make it a little bit saucy. Okay, so you have gone for The Undiscovered Country.
Yes, I
and
have.
Andy has gone for The Voyage Home. Andy's correct, it's The Voyage Home.
Oh, way!
That's the one where the whale's in.
No, of course it is, yeah.
Andy?
I thought Undiscovered Country was the one with the whales in, that's why I went for it.
Well, good
It was
try, Rob.
It was so that's 1-0 to some strange reason. 1-0 to Andy. We'll have another quiz next
That was
time.
a quiz. That question was a quiz.
I'm not saying you were robbed, but you were robbed.
I've been robbed twice in 1 week.
It's in it.
One probably a bit more.
Okay, so we're going to finish off now with Comic of the Week and then some convention news. So, Comic of the Week this week is another Kickstarter one, so before we start on this one, do not insult it, because it will cost you money, Raoul. As you know, last week when you said a few choice comments, that you then felt so bad that you had to put some money to it. But to be honest, this one is a cracking idea, and it looks great. This is...
The Kickstarter?
Yeah, this is the Troll Tooth Wars. And what it is, do you remember the old... We mentioned these in an episode before. Steve Jackson did those Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Oh, Death Trap Dungeon, and that was Livingstone, wasn't it?
They worked on them together, yeah.
Yeah, and all that. I remember reading those when I was a kid. I used to hide in the library from all the bullies and... shut up.
That's the theme, that's the plot to Never Ending Story, Rob. You've just stolen that.
You've stuck it for your life.
Did you end up riding around in a giant white dog?
No.
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 It was a unicorn.
But I did smash one of them over the head with my lunchbox.
Oh,
He never
wow.
left me.
When you say lunchbox, do you mean kind of Lympha Christie style?
No. As in the box which I carried my lunch in. I absolutely clocked him.
And you are quite a big fella, so...
Well, I'm now. I wasn't back then.
Oh, so it's Tupperware you hit him with?
I hit him with Tupperware, yes.
Oh, so...
Sent him flying.
Can we go for a show without you? How hard was it to hit someone with a piece of Tupperware to send them flying?
Oh, I lost it.
Tupperware? My sandwiches are in that, dude.
Bet your mum were happy.
Well, he sprayed deodorant all over my food so I couldn't eat it.
That's pretty cruel.
It was Lynx.
What was it?
He emptied,
if it was anything other than Lynx.
He emptied a can of Lynx over my sandwiches and said a few things I disagreed with. And I just lost it.
So was it the things you disagreed with? Was it like, shh, and it was like, Polish people are lazy?
No, it was... Well, I mean, before then, we didn't have many Polish people in that, because I was about 12 at the time, 13, so this was like way, way, way back when.
There's always some tale of woe, isn't there?
I don't think he was that politically minded, or that... To be fair, he wasn't a racist, he was just a dick. Anyway, yeah, so he empties this can of Lynx all over my sandwiches, I just lose it, pick the Tupperware up...
Did it have the top on it?
It had the lid on it, yeah, because he sprayed it all on, put the lid back on, and gave him this smug, stupid, shithead smile. So I just picked up the lunchbox, and I just smacked him round the head with it a few times. And he started crying, which was unusual, and his posse looked horrified and walked away.
I don't think his posse.
He had a posse, they used to hang around, they were like the cool kids, they were like a little gang. And I just lost it.
Are you not confusing your life with the film Tombstone?
Yeah. What did they say? They were going to come and get you by sundown.
Yeah. Tell him I'm a coming, and all hell's coming with me.
The games teacher was pretty cool because he set.
Was that little Ike Clanton who did that?
The games teacher.
No, the boy that you killed with your lunchbox.
No, his name was James. I insist on being called James as well. Anyone who insists on being called James is always a little bit special. Anyway.
Oh, that was a dig at Catface.
Paul James.
Yes.
So.
What's his surname? I think you're going to call him Paul Jimmy.
Uncle Jimmy.
So, right, we had this tug of war thing, and he basically put me, right, me against...
The tug of love.
Against all four of them, and I smashed them. Absolutely smashed them. So, anyway.
What does that have to do with the
comic book?
No, what does that have to do with your lunchbox thing? This is just, you wanted
This is a follow-up. This is like the games teacher had my side, knew the normal routes would not get them off my case.
And went down the obvious, let's have a tug of war between one boy and four.
And I beat them.
You beat four boys?
I was bigger than them.
There must have been a mountain to have beaten four people.
Well, he did. The thing is, like, there was like this wrestling thing as well, where you had to drag one from one end of the I suppose, what do you call the area where, like, it was like an indoor kind of tennis court thing. For one,
you're not mistaking your life with the bit in Flash Gordon where he has to fight against Timothy Dalton.
Well, kind of. Like, I had to drag them all back to the side one by one.
Did
now,
the floor start kind of moving and spikes come out of it?
You had to grab them by the belt and drag them. But I just totally, like, cheated.
What school did you go to?
It was one in Wales.
And
I managed...
School of Hard Knocks.
I managed to
Faculty of Bloody Noses.
To get one of them on the ground, and I dragged him by his feet all across the back. And he's going, Sir, he's cheating, he's grabbed me by my feet, shooting my belt. And the games teacher, this is how cool he was, he just turned a blind eye. And I dragged this asshole probably about...
Asshole?
Yeah, I probably dragged him about 300 metres.
What, on his back?
On his back.
Did he have no skin left?
No, he had a shirt on. So, yeah, and I just threw him into the corner. And I walked back and I was like, right, you're next. And nobody wanted to go against me.
So, you dragged him 300 yards and you threw him into the corner of a room?
Metres. It was a big...
300 metres? Fucking hell, how big was...
It was a big, like, massive kind of indoor... Well, it was. It was like a big, like, you know, sports kind of indoor thing with walls.
Well, there we go. Well, you've learned something new every day.
And basketball, like those basketball hoop things.
Basketball courts.
Yeah, but they'd suspend from the ceiling. They could press all these buttons, all this stuff would come down, and it'd be like a tennis court, a basketball court.
From the ceiling?
Yeah.
A tennis court would appear from the ceiling.
No, like it had the...
I can't believe you are questioning the most realistic part of this story.
The basketball things would come down like that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, comic of the week.
The comic book.
Yes, so this book is based on basically the world of those Choose Your Own Adventure books, but they've written a story about it, based around it. So it's based on the world, the fantasy world of Titan, which is where Steve Jackson's books happened. They were called the Fighting Fantasy series, and Steve Jackson was one of the co-creators. And so these dudes have got together. The writer's called P.J. Montgomery, and the artist is a guy called Gavin Mitchell, who worked on Stiffs and The Pride. And we actually we reviewed The Pride a while back, and they've put together this book, and it looks pretty good. So you can find it if you go on Kickstarter and look up Steve Jackson's The Trolltooth Wars. You should be able to find it. But I've got some examples of artwork for it here. So it looks really nice, doesn't it?
It looks beautiful. It looks really, really nice.
It's about, I can't remember how many pages. You know, there's 100 or more pages in it. It just looks great. I got some other pictures. Oh, there was another picture. If you go onto the Kickstarter, this cool picture of all these kind of trolls and goblins running over the side of this mountain to attack these people who are riding along the bottom. But it looks really, really good. So it's coloured nicely, nice kind of limited palette in the book.
I would actually back this.
Well, if you go on to Kickstarter, I've thought about that as well. It just looks really good.
It is gorgeous.
So put your money into that. So that's by Montgomery and Mitchell. And Steve Jackson has given it his blessing as well. He loves the idea, apparently. So he's well behind it. And there's a cool video as well. If you go on the Kickstarter, it's the They come across as nice guys as well, who really love what they're into. Not weirdos at all, because most of the people are weirdos in this. So that is it. The Trolltooth Wars. That is my my comic of the week. Go and back it on Kickstarter. It looks cool. Look for yourself. You'll find the artwork on Kickstarter. And that brings me on to convention news. We've only got one convention this week, and that is the Yorkshire Cosplay Con. That's the 4th of April 2015 at Magna. You can find them at www.yorkshirecosplayconvention.co.uk, all one word, Yorkshire Cosplay Convention. And there's going to be a bunch of different guests there, including Virginia Hay and Barry Noble, who was a Cyberman, and a bunch of other people. And there's a load of cool events going on as well. There's lots of cosplayers going. Miss Sheffield's going to be there, which Rob's interested in. And a lady called Stacey Rebecca, who's dressed up as Psylocke, who Raoul's taken an interest in. So there's going to be a bunch of illustrators as well who are going to be there, who it would be worth going along, and authors. So there's some cool stuff happening. There's going to be quizzes. There's taiko workshops.
Really
She's drumming.
This.
It does. There's a bunch of stuff going on there. There's games that you can play. There's the Jedi Academy, which actually looks quite cool when I looked up on it. If you go onto the website, you can see like there's candle workshops and jewellery workshops, and obviously Magna, which is a big kind of earth science centre. There's tons of stuff you can look at there, as well as lots of events, and you can go to sit on a Simpsons sofa.
And a TARDIS. And
they've got professional costume. They've got a big Bumblebee there as well, and Iron Man. So that looks pretty cool, that does, doesn't it? So there's a ton of stuff that's going to be there, so it's worth going along. Because you've also got professional groups who wear costumes. They're going to have panels. There's going to be props, such as kits there. Lightning McQueen, the full car, and lots of Doctor Who stuff. So it looks like quite an interesting event, that does, doesn't it? I wouldn't mind going to that, to be honest.
When is it again?
It's on the 4th of April, 2015.
4th of April. That's a Saturday, isn't it?
I will quickly check for you. I'm going to say a yes. 4th of April. Yes, Saturday.
I've got a stag thing on the Friday, so we might be able to do it if I'm not.
But see, I will have a kid by then, most likely as well. So I'll need to square it with the missus. But obviously, some people go to conventions for the famous folk who are going to be there. But I think all the other stuff at this one makes it look cool and interesting. And there's a ton of people that Raoul is going to want to perv on and go and chat to.
What?
Because you're a monster. You're all known for it. I can't even say what you're known for because it involves your real second name. The swerve, as we call it. Where the way the swerve works is you'll be talking to a girl and then Raoul
not for many years though, because...
Well, not since you've been with the current lady.
Yes.
But before you were with her, you'd be chatting away, and then Raoul would come over, and to not only start getting into the conversation, but to stop you being part of it, he would just slide in front of you. He would stand next to the girl, then slowly edge his way round till you were facing his back, and he was noted for doing it numerous times. So there's going to be tons of stuff there. There's too much stuff for me to go through. So that is Yorkshire, just to say again, Yorkshire Cosplay Con. That's Yorkshire Cosplay Convention, all one word, .co.uk. But one of the guests, who's going to be there, is a young lady who Raoul sneaked a peek at my next slide. Her name's Pixie Lynott, and she was in Game of Thrones. She's been in a ton of stuff, actually. I've gone and skipped straight past it. Again, silly me. So she was in Game of Thrones, and she has played a contortionist in the role. She's been in a few different episodes.
Played a contortionist, or is a contortionist?
Well, she is a contortionist as well. She is a contortionist. She does it kind of full time. So I've gone and skipped past it again.
It looks painful.
Well, yeah. If I tried to do that, I think I'd do myself a mischief.
I don't think you could. I can barely get my leg above, my knee.
So her name's Pixie Lynott. Her real name's Jennifer Keith. She's a 26-year-old Sheffield performer. She's been in loads of commercials and stuff like that. Do you remember when Britain's Got Talent was coming back on again, and they had one of the Alicia Dixon, and she had her legs pulled over her head. That was her doing that, and they just kind of put her face onto it.
Britain's Got Talent.
Britain's Got Talent. One of the adverts for that, she was featured in that.
I've not seen Britain's Got Talent.
You're not missing anything. I wouldn't want to watch it. It's only because Lisa likes to watch all that crap. So she is one of the most flexible contortionists in the UK, and you can't see it, listeners. But there's a picture of her on Game of Thrones, and Rob is Raoul. Sorry,
I'm not even looking at it.
You liar!
You're the liar trying to make out.
Can I just say that drool patch on my carpet? That better be drool. Yeah. So she's going there. She's been in a ton of stuff, and I thought I would put her on the screen for Raoul to have a gander at. And you suddenly want to go there now, don't you?
Go where?
To the Yorkshire Cosplay Convention.
I wanted to go before I'd seen...
Old Bendy Wendy over there. Piccadilly Knot.
Is that not Photoshop? Surely that's Photoshopped.
Nope. That's actually... If you watch some of the episodes, you'll see... Look at you. An excuse to get closer to it. You are a monster.
How... That's Photoshop, surely.
No. There's actually clips of her in it that you can view. She's just a very flexible young lady.
Wow.
Wow. So she's going to be there as well. So I don't know if she'll be doing any kind of bending or anything, but yeah, she's got a talent, as Rob has noticed. Raoul has noticed. Yeah. So that looks like a pretty cool convention. I wouldn't mind going to that if I can get away from my responsibilities as a new father. Anyway, that is the end of the show. You probably noticed that a certain ginger, fringeless member of the group hasn't commented for the last 5 minutes, which is not unusual for him. But I suppose Andy has snuck off in the break.
He's gone home to make his sandwiches.
Yeah.
He's got to get up early to start closing more care homes.
Yeah, so he'll be busy doing that. So anyway, that's the end of this show. So it's goodbye from me, and goodbye from Raoul.
Yeah, goodbye.
And we'll see you all hopefully on Sunday, unless we have problems. It's Mother's Day, isn't it?
I can't do Sunday. I could probably do Monday though.
I don't think I can do. So actually, it might be Monday or some other day next week. But we will be back. We promise, won't we?
Yes.
So, good night.
Good night.
That was ghastly.